Right now I need to heal myself well, just like a brook that runs so deep. I spent my life just being asleep. It takes enlightenment to know that what you learn. Welcome to the Powers of Mind Hour. It's a Sunday morning with Enlightenism. Sunday morning Enlightenism, spiritual freedom. Enlightenism is spiritual freedom. A great time for us to come together spiritually with a new way to think and live. It's the 21st century, and we are transitioning our spiritual beliefs into the 21st century. 21st century spiritual insights, spiritual freedom. And I'm asking Sister Carolyn to join us to get us going with spiritual freedom. She's an Enlightenism practitioner and teacher. She has studied metaphysics and spirituality for a great part of her life. Absolutely. And she practices all the time. And she's going to share some insights with you about this podcast on Sunday morning. Sunday morning with Enlightenism, the one and only, the renowned, the infallible, immeasurable, powerful Sister Carolyn.
Thank you, Brother Malcolm. Thank you.
Giving you a lot of
accolades. They're great, but they always have to be working for me. As Brother Malcolm says, I'm an Enlightenism teacher and consciousness practitioner, and I do this work all the time, not just when I'm on the broadcast, but my life has become dedicated to Enlightenism, because it is truly a new way to think and live. And when you understand that it's a new way to think and live, and that you were born whole, perfect, and complete, and have everything that you'll ever need for the journey, then you're not always looking to someone else to approve of who you are. And what I think is paramount in Enlightenism is the way that you feel, the benefits that you reap from living on the path of Enlightenism. When you truly become responsible for who you are, how you think. Brother Malcolm and I talk so often about the beingness. And what I want to share with you today, sometimes people don't understand what beingness is. Beingness is who you think you are, who you believe you are. That is your beingness. When you go anywhere, you take this beingness with you. If you're quick to get in fights in a response, if you're quick to, as they say, tell people off, that is your beingness. And Enlightenism knows that you have the power to heal your life, and you have the power to change your life. Last Sunday we were talking about trusting the self. And the beingness that you are is about trusting the self. And when you trust yourself, you know what your responses are going to be. Now, we talk so often about being born whole, perfect, and complete, faceless, formless, and colorless. Because we know that these are the processes that it takes to live. And we are taught by our parents and other well-meaning adults who we are, how to think. And Enlightenism gets you off of that path. without blame or without shame. The book Enlightenism, which I have on a preview behind me, is definitely something that I believe that everybody needs to understand who they are aware of being. And Enlightenism, for me, gives you things to think about without others' input. Like your awareness of being. When someone asks you, who do you think you are? Or how did you do this? Those are questions that are asked, but only you have the answers. And you don't have the complete answer unless you know who you are. Enlightenism, for me, has completed some of the processes that I've gone through in my life, the me that I am building now. And this is the me that I want to take with me everywhere I go. Now, do I take this me with me everywhere I go? No, I don't. Because I am still learning about who I am and unlearning those ideas, attitudes, and beliefs that I was taught. And so the idea for my life is to live completely as me and to know that I was born whole, perfect, and complete, and have everything that I will ever need for the journey. And when you know this, there is a calmness that comes over you, even when you're in situations where you think you're not knowing this. You really are. But what happens is sometimes you don't get to this knowingness with the speed that you want. That's what the book Enlightenism is all about. It asks questions that you answer for yourself. Not for Brother Malcolm, not for me, not for your family, not for significant others, not for children, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. This is a question that you can be still about your awareness of being, who you are, and how you got to where you are. And when you know, like in our first principle, we talk about the principles of Enlightenism. And the first principle says, I acknowledge that I am responsible for the current conditions in my life. When you acknowledge that, there is no one for you to blame, no one for you to get angry with. This is the first part of trusting the self, understanding who you are and why you do what you do. And when you're clear, which is what Enlightenism teaches and brings to you, you know when you're clear. You know when you're playing with yourself. You know that. No one has to tell you. And the idea is to live from you, from the beingness of who you are. Enlightenism is going to take a lifetime if you're willing to do the work. Knowing who you are in every facet of your being is the importance and the benefit of Enlightenism. Living on the road of Enlightenism in your daily life, in your moment-to-moment thinking, is what this broadcast is all about. Brother Malcolm and I have devoted our lives to Enlightenism. I don't want to do anything else. Enlightenism is my life through teaching, counseling, and all of the many facets that I bring into my life and living Enlightenism. That is its importance to me. Trusting myself. Not the ads on television or political ads of what somebody is going to do for me. It is about knowing that you have the power to do those things for yourself. Knowing that you have the power to heal your life and to change your life. Trusting the self is what Enlightenism will always be about in your life. When I say to you, I am an Enlightenism teacher and a consciousness practitioner, that is who I am. And my beingness is Enlightenism in every area of my life. With a book behind me, Enlightenism, it is how I live, and it is what I live from, knowing who I am. The book opens up many questions, and only you can answer those questions for who you are. And now it's time to reintroduce Brother Malcolm. I now give you author, speaker, and creator of Enlightenism, Brother Malcolm.
Thank you, Sister Carolyn. Wonderful, wonderful insights.
Absolutely, as always.
As always, we are here with Enlightenism on Sunday morning. It's a Sunday morning broadcast.
Absolutely.
Well, you know what I want to share with our guests and people, the listeners and viewers. Spiritual freedom is very important for the 21st century, because the focus of Enlightenism is to move away from the past,
yes,
and introduce a new way to think and live. There are a lot of things that are happening,
yes,
today,
so many
that
things
didn't happen thousands of years ago. We have electric automobiles, computers, all types of technologies, cellular phones. Why not spiritual freedom?
Yes, why not spiritual
Why
freedom?
not spiritual
Why not
freedom?
spiritual freedom?
And that's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Spiritual freedom.
Spiritual
Thank
freedom.
you, Sister
You're
Carol.
quite welcome.
Spiritual freedom. A new way to think and live. It's not condemnation. So we're not condemning religion or traditional spiritual beliefs. We're introducing something different. Something to deal with the millions of people who really don't have a spirituality that is independent of what someone else has created in an illusion. It's a man-made illusion. The power within must be discovered by you. What is the source of your power when you feel powerless? Where do you go for power when you feel powerless and helpless in a situation? This will give you some idea of what you think about spirituality and freedom. Where is the greater power? Do you search within history, philosophy, psychology, other things? Where do you go when you're thinking about the source of a power? The source of all power is consciousness. Colorless, faceless, and formless. You cannot see it with the natural eye, with the human eye. You must see it by working in the mind. And in the mind is where you will find consciousness. You just hear the story of people. Well, tell a story that right before someone dies, you probably have heard it too, or maybe experienced it, like I have. I've seen people actually die. And then they have this they open their mouths usually, and you hear this, like a rattle. They call it the rattle sign. That means the person is dead, and what the people said in folklore, it's gone. The spirit is gone. Now, we believe in the spirit, but spirit is consciousness. We're in the 21st century, so we're not using spirit. We don't have to. We know about consciousness, which they didn't know very much about at that time. We're talking about consciousness. Consciousness is something that exists within you, of the awareness about who you are. We can condition it to believe that we're helpless today, and that we're dependent upon an unknown power. The power is not unknown. See, the power is not unknown. When you really think about the origination, at least insofar as we know, of the invisible God. See, before, throughout history, God was symbolized in symbols. So you had all types of lions and other symbols, cobras, snakes, everything that represented a God, a power. So it was multi-gods. It wasn't one. And the Jewish people created the invisible God because they did not want to embrace the God that had enslaved them and caused them to be slaves. So they created, from what we've read and what we know about, they created an invisible God. And the invisible God belonged to them in the sense that this was going to be the power that was greater than the one that they were facing in slavery. So they believed the greater power. So the greater power became the invisible power. A power that was unknown to everyone unless you discovered it yourself. So the other people would not believe, the people that had enslaved them would not believe that they had a God because you couldn't see it. Colorless, faceless, and formless. They rejected one source of power and created another one. What Sister Carolyn and I are doing on this broadcast, introducing spiritual freedom, is we're creating self-discovery as a source of the new power. Self-discovery means going into the mind, first of all, deciding that you have had enough of the pain. You're tired of suffering. You're tired of going through generational dependency on others. And you want to do something about it. And instead of going to the source of the things that caused you the pain in the first place, see, what is causing us pain is our history and our beliefs about things that people have told us about that we didn't experience now, but we're experiencing something similar, and we believe that the source of the power should be what others have taught us. So we want to be like what the other people say. Well, this is the way you should think and live. No, there is a source of power in you that's greater than what you've heard about. But you must discover it for yourself. And when you discover it for yourself, then it creates a relationship where you then form a relationship with something you know about personally. And then you know about the liberating powers of this consciousness. You're planting seeds in the mind to change how you think and live. See, no one can take it away from you. Then you don't have someone can ask you, what do you know about the power within you? You don't have to reference something in the past. You can talk about it right now. And you can talk intelligently about it because you have discovered it for yourself. You know what spiritual freedom means. It means being detached from toxicity, being detached from everything that has been created in the world to tell you about a power that you must discover yourself. You have to discover the power. And when you think about the various religions in the world, there are many who attempt to do that. And they basically all are very similar. See, they all are very similar. But they seem different. But they all have the same purpose. Same purpose is to attach to a power. Attach themselves to a power that's greater than the one that they're using to victimize themselves. And the power we use to victimize ourselves are generational beliefs, the beliefs from others to tell us how to think and live. But when you discover this power for yourself, then there is a symbiotic relationship that occurs. And then you can lose yourself, your toxic self, into this new awareness of being. And so you've heard people, like, for example, Jesus the Christ, talk about the Father and I are one, but the Father is greater than I. Now, you're not talking about a father. It's a symbol a symbol of authority, a symbol of a relationship. The acknowledgement that the power of the consciousness in me is greater than the one outside that was victimizing me, causing me to believe that I am of a certain race, color, gender, age, religious status, and so forth. And to believe that this power exists the way that others have told me that the power exists. They say, well, this is the way it exists. And never understanding what Jesus said. Or when the Buddha says, I want to find out, is there another way to think and live other than the one that I am witnessing and observing in others and in myself? Or Krishna, wanting to find out the same thing. How can I overcome the pain in my life? What can I do? And these people became introspective. They metaphorically turned away from the world and entered into a place of consciousness where they could see this power is real. It's a lie. And when you are unwilling to listen to the power, then you separate yourself from the power. And you have no relationship with the power. None. Because you don't know the power and you don't understand the communication. The communication has been coming all the time. And we have ignored it. We've ignored it because it doesn't seem like it's the power. What seems like a power is money. Who would someone want to talk to today? You're given your choice. You want to talk to someone that has a lot of money like Elon Musk or somebody, Bezos, Bill Gates, or let's just say the Dalai Lama. Using him as an example. I don't know any of the people that I mentioned. But I know that one focuses on the inner mind power as it relates to spirituality and not things. That person being the Dalai Lama. And I know that others focus on things and create it outside so that people can have an easier way to live, believing with technology. Like refrigerators and all the other things that seem outdated now, but they were very innovative at one time. But the power I am talking about lives in the present moment only. It doesn't live in the past. The past is dead. And all the people in the past are dead. The communication is happening today. It's available to you today. Check out the National BYE Society, National Build Your Enlightenism Society. It's a nonprofit organization. You can go to our website, listen to this video, watch radio broadcasts on Spreaker, Blog Talk Radio, and other places. Why? Because Enlightenism is spiritual freedom and it needs to be heard so people can have a choice to understand there is a new way to think and live. And that you can no longer justify victimization. No one is to blame for your problems today except you and the unwillingness to let go of a belief system that causes you to depend on others for power and clarity. And when you let go of that belief system and discover one in you that's greater than the one you have been using, and then you will discover that you have the power to overcome victimization, powerlessness, racism, and every other thing that human beings have created, because now you're using a different mindset. And when you use this different mindset, what do you see? Freedom. Freedom, spiritual freedom is important. And it's important because it's necessary if you want to change how you think and live. Discover the power for yourself. The book in the background, Enlightenism. It's one way to understand the work that I'm doing in others. Do you have to use it? No, but understand that it's available for you to use. See, it's available to you. One of the things I understand very clearly, if people are unwilling to listen to the power within, and I am talking about the power within, then they must go within to understand the power within, not the one outside, or all the noise that people are making. Become free, spiritual freedom. I'm Brother Malcolm, and Sister Carolyn was with us early. Check us out again on Spreaker. Become a follower of Spreaker, the broadcast. Become a follower of this broadcast. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, because Enlightenism is available. The choice is yours. I encourage you to choose Enlightenism and self-discovery and claim the greater power within you. Have a great day. See you soon.